horrible people telling some bad things about people speaking up for children. So it's going to be an interesting day. There's a lot of cops here to try and protect us, and as always, we're going to be here on the lawn, standing up for what's right for our children for the future. And thanks for tuning in. One more power. Thank you, Banana.
Sorry, guys. This mob over here are the trans and all that mob, anti-Posey Parker. And we've got the Posey Parker group up here.
As you know, we keep trying to things de-escalated them, we try and keep things peaceful. Yeah. We know this is just society, but that's alright. Well, everyone's right to have their opinion. I've got nothing against that. And I really appreciate you guys standing and looking after us. Yeah. No worries, man. Any troubles, come and see me. I can find anything better, let me know. No, it's perfect. Thanks for it. Right now? Right now. When you leave me, where are you going to go? Just up to the centre, over to the left? What do you think? Probably between the right and the centre, I guess. Yes, that's right. Yeah, head up, do what you got to do, but touch base with whether you can sit back. Yeah, I had a quick chat to George on the way through, but who is the supervisor for? Is a young short lady? Right, no problems about it. You know where people are. If you have any questions, mate, come grab us. Yeah, you know it. Thanks, thanks, guys.
Our children
yeah, if you can sit that somewhere where we can hear the speakers, that'd be great.
And I told my daughter she could be whatever she wanted. And that apparently means that I then can't say that biological sex is real. It's because I raised my children to say that they could say whatever they wanted, they could like whatever they wanted, they could play with whatever they wanted, they could dress however they wanted, and they could do that as boys or girls. But my son's picking up a baby doll and sticking it in a pushchair didn't mean I had to rush into a gender clinic and obliterate his fertility and eradicate his sexual function. It's a totally coherent point of view. And now we're here. So your kids go to school with teachers who are activists. I say to each and every one of you, if you don't know what's being taught in your schools, you need to find out, and you need to find out now. And then, whatever it takes, and I know this is an easy choice for someone with grown kids, but you need to make the choice. Do you run the risk of your children being poisoned by this ideology in schools, or do you take them out? Because even in devout Catholic schools in this country, you are having this pernicious ideology just spewed into your children's brains. And these teachers are powerful. Teachers can tell children all sorts of things and be believed, which is great because that used to be a good thing. But now education is activism, and now children haven't got a chance. They don't teach critical thinking, they teach kindness. And kindness isn't kind. Kindness is pretending that women have penises. Kindness is pretending that men have vaginas. Kindness is pretending that you pump your body full of testosterone, you cut off your breasts, and you still have a baby and bring it into this world with no someone's poor mother. It's absolutely shameful. And doctors in this country are making an absolute killing, pardon the pun. Because once you ravish your body full of testosterone, your chance of heart failure grows exponentially. There are girls, unreported by the media, there are girls having heart failure and dying in their late 20s because they are pumped full of testosterone. This really is the next thalidomide and lobotomy scandal. Except this time we're doing it to children. Okay, so let women speak is exactly this. We stand here and we say the things that we sometimes are afraid to say in our own lives. And we say it without giving a shit what everybody around us thinks. We say it because we know it's the truth, and sometimes it's so important to hear yourself say the things that you are afraid to say, to know that you are not sucked in by a cult into silence. And what will happen, I promise, if this is the first time you've done it, you will feel empowered and liberated. You will feel no longer gaslit and isolated. This is a top-down ideology that has not asked your consent or sought your favour. It's told each and every one of you, follow this or lose your jobs. Follow this or lose your kids. Follow this or be cancelled from the public square. We are here collectively to say, no way, this is not going to happen. We are going to keep speaking. I have to have a police bloody escort from an airport for saying that women don't have penises. It's absolutely revolting. Okay, so you come here, you speak, we all think you're marvellous. You wanted to speak? Come. Oh, and please remind me to take the microphone off because I keep forgetting and then everybody hears my mindless conversation elsewhere.
Okay, I just want to say I am sick of being told that this is a distraction from real issues. No, I think everything else is a distraction from this issue, which is the main issue. Another historic erasure of women. And I don't think that there's any point in these people caring about anything else in this building until this nonsense is done for good. A woman experiencing violence at the hands of her partner cannot just identify as a man to resist the abuse. He's going to do it anyway. A little girl cannot identify as a boy to prevent being raped. He's going to do it anyway, regardless of her gender identity. Meanwhile, a man is able to identify as a woman to gain access to them. The truth will come out, but only if we keep saying it. And all these politicians behind us have been complicit in the biggest medical scandal in human history. That they have promoted the surgical and therapeutic experimentation on the most vulnerable members in our society. It won't be today, but the effects of those procedures will never go away for those kids. And everybody who has done this will have hell to pay. Only mentally sick magicians believe that they can change a person's sex. Real doctors with actual brains in their heads who actually care about patients do not say such nonsense. So, when this is all over and they ask us what we were doing while the hard-won rights earned by the women generations before us were being taken and we were being silenced, at least we can say we stood with the women even when they called us Nazis.
Hey Jigs, let me know if you can't hear very well.
I want to give Kelly a warm welcome and to Australia and for her stance in standing up for women. And congratulations to all of you women and men that are here today that are standing up for the same issue. It is so important that we fight for our rights. We are women. We are biologically born as women. And I agree with everything that Kelly has said. This case has no idea. Many times that my Senate colleague, Malcolm Roberts, has actually moved motions of the you're a woman. It's totally different. They can do whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, they were born either a male or female, and that's the way it is. Change that. No, they can't have babies. Women are given the role as giving babies. Women have been given a role to carry that child for women. Women have given that right, and they want to take it away the right to be called mothers. Don't allow that to happen. People don't have norms. And how stupid are these governments that didn't choose the sex of the child? That is not what it's about. That will destroy us as human beings in this world. So allow this to happen. I have no problem about people over the age of 18. Make their choice. If you want to be male or female, that's your choice. It is your choice of your sexual preference. I really don't care. But don't force it on other people. Don't change our laws that protects the rights of whether you're male or female. And all I hear in this national time is about the rights of the women, equal pay gap. They don't talk about rights in any other areas. They're not going to, because they're worried about losing the vote. It's all about the vote to them. And that is not what this country is built on. So hence, I won't hold you up any longer. But I just want to say, what do you think I've been trying to do in the past 2,000 years? Is legislate until I am in a position to have the balance of power, until you, the people, start realising vote for one nation, because we are the only ones that are standing up for the rights. Stand up for women. That's where it starts. We can make a difference in that place if you give us the power to actually do it, to vote for one nation, stop being deterred from it. Give us a go. Because if you really had a look in that parliament, the way that they vote, the policies that they put up, trying to fight for our rights, the people of Australia have tried to vote, look after our rights, our democracy, and they stop us every damn time. So if you have the choices in your hands, you make the choice how you vote. And then if you do that, you give us the power, then we will carry it through. But today, it's about you, the women here. And I will say, thank you to the men who have turned up here to support the women. And that's most important too. It's just not about women. It's about the boys that they're give birth to. Everyone's confused. People are confused. They don't understand. People are confused. They don't know where they stand these days, whether you're male or female. But I will end on the fact that because of this woman and her efforts, and if you know my political career, I have had rallies around Australia when I was actually tried to be lambasted by the media, by protesters, people who came to see me speak. That's why I came out today, to support this woman. And until more politicians came out and stood by their convictions, to support people on their values and what they stand for, but they're too bloody gutless in there, they don't want to, they're frightened, nothing will change. So to Kelly, who's not an Australian, you have my deepest respect and admiration.
I got reminded by my own rules. Jesus, I'm so sorry. So yes, one rule of let women speak is vagina have us first. And then anyone with a penis can wait till the end, even if your penis is in a jar or inverted or chopped off. Okay, so yes, come and speak.
Everyone has a right to counter-protest, but we know that the people over there are not here for their protest. They're here to drown us out. When Simone
Beauvoir said the oppressor would not be so strong if he did not have accomplices amongst the oppressed. I think he was talking about she was talking about the ANU Women's Department. 5 years ago, had you said women deserve their single-sex prisons, refuges, change rooms, toilets and spaces, no one would have batted an eyelid. Now it's enough to get you fired, called a bigot, publicly shamed and humiliated, abused, threatened with death and assaulted. I know how hard this can be for women to stand up and speak their truth. We're threatened with violence. We lose our jobs. We get doxxed. We are secretly photographed and then our photos are published online on websites purposefully made to intimidate us. The mainstream media refuses to report on the threats made to women because nothing stands in the way of men's sexual rights. 5 weeks ago, Nicola Sturgeon, First Minister of Scotland, resigned in shame after attempting to push through legislation that would have allowed men to self-identify their way into women's spaces. She left office with her tail in between her legs after a male rapist was put into a female prison. Andrew Barr, our Chief Minister in Canberra, surreptitiously passed that very same law years ago. There was no consultation with women's organisations or with child safeguarding agencies. In one fell swoop, women in the ACT lost their rights to single-sex change rooms, sports, refuges and prisons. Parents lost their rights to parent or guide their children. This law allows men who claim that they're women to be in our spaces. Do Canberra's parents know that the law allows their child under 12 to change his or her sex marker on their birth certificate so long as one parent consents? No, I don't think they do. Did he consult parents' groups? No. Children cannot make these decisions. Their prefrontal cortex, which controls the executive function of their brains, is not fully formed until they're 25. They do not understand what they're consenting to. Studies show that social transition puts children on a fast track to puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, experimental and dangerous surgery. The puberty blocker Lupron is the same drug given to chemically castrate sex offenders. So we are knowingly chemically castrating children. Why isn't the medical profession up in arms? Where is the left media? Where is the ABC? Canberra, which considers itself civic-minded and progressive, now lags like a Neanderthal, dragging its knuckles on the ground while the rest of the world has evolved. Norway has followed Sweden and Finland as well as England by calling out the experimental nature of child transitions. Norway said, "We simply do not have the evidence to support the widespread use of these risky and often irreversible interventions in general clinic settings." A growing number of progressive countries are rejecting the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, or WPATH, standards of care that promote medicalisation. Media, where is your frank and fearless investigative reporting on WPATH? Why is this task left to struggling citizen journalists like Genevieve Black and Jennifer Bartlett? Why is this fight for our kids left to mothers, fathers, grandmothers and penniless women? Puberty blockers leave kids stuck in Tanner stage 2 with microsex organs. These kids are left sterile, never able to have children. They are left never able to achieve orgasm. Why is no one standing up for the children? Where is the outcry? These kids are sold a lie that it is possible to change sex, and studies show that it is those children, effeminate boys and tomboy girls, who would grow up to be gay and lesbian, who are being transitioned. There are no wrong bodies. Penny Wong, our minister, why aren't you defending young gender non-conforming girls who would grow up to be lesbians from being de-sexed and mutilated? Why aren't you, Penny, a lesbian, advocating for the L in the LGB? Why aren't you advocating for lesbian rights to congregate, something which in many states is illegal? Gender clinics need to be put under the microscope. The number of detransitioners is growing and their stories are harrowing. Women left with male pattern baldness, deep voices requiring complete hysterectomies and left with brittle and breaking bones, beards and assortment of health problems. And why is not one mainstream media outlet speaking about UK Tavistock, where more than 70% of referrals had more than 5 associated comorbidities, such as abuse, depression, self-harm, suicide attempts, anxiety, eating disorders, ADHD, bullying. Where 35% of the referrals were autistic, when only 2% of the population is autistic. Where only 2.5% of the children had no known associated problems. Where 42% of referrals had lost a parent through separation or death. And where children referred were 10 times more likely than the national average to have a registered sex offender as a parent. Australia has its own Tavistocks. Where is their record keeping? Where are their statistics? Where is their science? Where is the media on all the bills being pushed through on the pretense of anti-conversion? These bills mean that no counsellor, psychologist, psychiatrist will be able to tease out issues, will be able to talk about suicidal ideation, depression, anxiety. All they will be allowed to do is lead the patient to think that transitioning experimental surgery, dangerous drugs will solve their problems. The world is abandoning the affirmation model which Australia is still using on our children. It is an unscientific and unproven model used for no other health issues. Where is the ABC and the commercial networks on the fuel that drives the gender industry? First, the money. Who is driving this? Jennifer Barlick has done incredible work in this area, but our mainstream media avoids it like the plague. The ideology that underpins this is queer theory, a theory that normalizes the fetishization of womanhood, of childhood, of babyhood. It's men getting a thrill from defecating in diapers, masturbating in women's clothing, animal love, aka raping of animals, incest and pedophilia. This is queer theory in action. And who invented the term gender identity and gender role, describing the internal experience of sexuality and the social expectations of male and female behaviour, terms prominently featured in trans activism today and used to bolster claims of gender fluidity. It was John Money who referred to himself as a fuckologist. Money believed pedophilia was a harmless sexuality, which led to children suffering no harm. John Money's idea was to raise as a girl one of the Reimer twins whose circumcision had been botched. Money forced the Reimer twins to replicate sexual intercourse with each other, touch and inspect each other's genitals and watch pornography. He would show them porn and then prod them about their sexual arousal. They were 6 years old and both of these poor twins took their own lives. No good man legislates to allow men into spaces where women are vulnerable. No decent man lets grown men watch little girls getting undressed in the swimming pool change room. No man who respects women legislates for his right to expose himself to young girls. No man who likes women makes them the problem in their own spaces, places them at risk of rape in prisons, and sacrifices them as prey for predators. forced to share a woman's change room with a man a couple of weeks ago. He wasn't even pretending to be trans, but the law as it stands allows him to use the women's change room. But I have become the bigot in the very space created to keep me safe. Thank you, Andrew Barr, for legalising and protecting indecent exposure. All gender change rooms have now spawned a new genre of porn, dressing room porn. Search Pornhub and you'll find hundreds of videos of men masturbating in women's dressing rooms, wearing women's clothing they've taken in with them. There are videos secretly taken of women and girls undressing. Where is the media? Where are the left politicians who for years boasted they were the only that stood by women? My sister was pulled over by her aquarobics instructor to warn her about the male flashing his penis and watching young teens get undressed in the change room. She has spoken to management who told her it was discrimination for her to point this out. Men are not women. No amount of surgery or makeup turns them into women. It is insulting for white middle-class men to claim to know our struggles. It is just as insulting as my claiming to suffer discrimination because I'm black when clearly I'm not. These are men born into privilege and entitlement. Please do not compare your embarrassment at not passing to millennia of us women being sex trafficked, aborted, thrown on funeral pyres, bought and sold as chattels, raped, burned alive. These things have been done to women because of our sex, not because of our identity. It is insulting in the extreme. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Autogynephilia! Hear it in the back, boys. Where are the media's investigations into this driver of male transitioning? Media, acquaint yourselves with these. Sissy porn, sissification, hypnoporn and transvaxing. There are literally thousands of young men discussing openly how sissy hypnoporn is done. It is men being forcefully feminized, wearing lingerie, eroticizing submission and humiliation. I've got more, but Kelly's Jay's telling me to move on. I know. Yes, okay, thank you. I have more. Maybe.
Can I just say, I just want to share with you, I shared it with the YouTube audience before I came, and I'm so pleased for the officers that are here. I can't imagine you signed up for the police force to look after a load of autogynephiles and their handmaidens against a load of middle-aged women just saying, keep your dicks out of our space. I'm sure in this city and in this state, right now, there are children being abused that are not being investigated. There are women being raped that are not being investigated. There are houses being broken into where the police don't even turn up. And yet we have to have a police presence here. But I ask of those at the top, I don't know how much you're getting paid, boys, but I'm asking those at the top, what exactly is going on that you tell high-profile people that were going to talk that you couldn't keep them safe today, so they didn't come? Absolutely shameful. Shameful. She's saying Sam's completely gone. The microphone's on. Yay, nay? It's on. Let me just change. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you watch me on YouTube, but this is common. I think it's the weather. sorry. So I just want to know, I know you have an organisation aptly named ACON, and I understand that the police force has signed up to some sort of rainbow pledge, which basically means we will prioritise the needs of men over women. And I just want to say, when we arrived here today, the mob was much further back, and they've been allowed to encroach upon our space, step after step after step, putting women in danger and making women feel afraid. I just want to assure each and every one of them, I'm not scared of any of you. I'm not afraid. I will continue to speak. And all these people here that have gathered here today, they're not afraid of you either. We know you're going to do this. It's why we fucking do it. We know that when women come to speak, you come and try and stop us. We show you to the world for who you are. Women hating, terribly gaslit kids and grown men. What you'll find infiltrating all the way through that group of children are a load of really scary, dodgy looking men who are just playing them like puppets. There is a power to be had when you silence us women, you silence us mothers. When you silence the mothers, you can get to our children. I'm telling each and every one of you, no fucking way!
Hi. I was in Hobart for that horrible event. That was so wrong. I haven't slept since. It was unbelievable. Equality Tasmania is an absolute disgrace. The man that led that went to the female toilet past a unisex one. It is very clear that that was a male person, and then led a group of cult members to hound women. What the hell? But this is what they do. This is what they do in every government department. Every time that they go, oh, that's a turf, we're going to ruin her life. So now they did it in public so everybody can fucking see. So, I haven't slept. I'm a bit wired up. But how are those Greens? They was just standing there going, like, what the fuck do you expect? What are you doing? You're going, oh, here's my trans child, and parade and make a big deal like you did when you didn't fucking listen to women when you put self-ID in. And then you go, oh, I wonder why people think I was doing it for attention. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? You're going, how the hell is anybody gonna say that you're spot on with something as complex as fucking climate change when you're saying that women can have penises? I am afraid, but I am not going to stop saying no to men. Humans cannot change sex. I have had sperm and egg in something in my hands from two separate animals that have one sex and the other sex that you could call them male and female. I'm not a bigot. It's so ridiculous. It costs $265.95 and a fucking piece of paper to change your sex on a birth certificate in Tasmania, and they're going, oh, these people are vulnerable. Did they look fucking vulnerable in Hobart? I had a man the entire time right next to my head, and there's something about a man's voice that makes me so scared that I was shaking, and I swear to those Greens, they saw me cry and they fucking loved it. Women of New Zealand, prepare for battle! Let women speak!
Yeah, this thing is
noise from that hostile crowd over there is nothing compared to the noise from the women across Australia and across the world who are cheering us on. I want to speak to the women of Australia who are feeling gutted by recent events. It appears that the police and the government colluded to set up a situation in Melbourne to discredit the women attending the Let Women Speak rally. A group of young men in black were positioned nearby to the rally and subsequently revealed themselves to be Nazi supporters. This then was used by people in the government and in the media to falsely claim that this women's movement is somehow associated with Nazis. This is despite the entire Let Women Speak rally being online so that everyone can see that this allegation is baseless. My message to those people in Australia who understand that we are here speaking out to protect women and children, to protect women and children's rights, is nobody said this was going to be easy. We know that there is a lot at stake, and these events have shown us that we have to be strong. Of course, we can take a moment to regroup, to reassure and strengthen each other. We are social creatures, and being falsely accused is incredibly hurtful and embarrassing. And it is way too early for us to start finding humour in the ridiculousness of what was done to us in Melbourne. But we're women, and a lot of us have been made tough enough to withstand this. We know that this embarrassment from false accusations falls on the lighter end of the spectrum when it comes to the breadth of human suffering. And we are here speaking out to try and prevent an awful lot of human suffering that flows from the consequences of gender ideology. We know that these false accusations are designed to shame us into silence. And the false accusations attempt to put the spotlight on the question of our worth as individuals so that people are distracted from considering the very real concerns we are raising. As Brian Linehan in the UK recently so aptly put it, people keep looking at my finger rather than looking at what I am pointing to. We know that who we are as individuals is irrelevant. We are ordinary women speaking out about harms to children and women that the government and media are colluding to ignore. So we cannot let ourselves be deterred by this name calling. Many parents and grandparents and families generally do not know what is coming their way. They're busy working, trying to keep the house tidy, getting meals onto the table. I fully understand that juggle. But I invite them to join us in this movement, and in doing so, they can save themselves from an ocean of future pain. This is because within the culture we are currently living in, anyone's child, yours or mine, will be encouraged at school, online, during extracurricular activities, by their friends and by health professionals to contemplate their gender. Even little kids are being encouraged to contemplate their gender. There is no scientific evidence to support such a thing as a gender identity. Children are being encouraged to contemplate something about themselves which isn't even real. So naturally that leads to confusion. For some children this turns into an enduring preoccupation, and they start to believe that the solution to any difficulties they are facing lies in changing their body. From this point on, the nightmare for parents and families, and even the courts, to ensure that all children are affirmed, even if their parents disagree with that approach. Suddenly, you'll see what you never paused to notice before: rainbow lanyards around the neck of health professionals and teachers, trans pride flags on the wall in the waiting room of the health clinic, Adults asking your child their preferred pronouns and then using them without any hesitation. It's like what we used to call in netball a full court press. Wherever you try to move, there is a professional there ready to trans your child. They're wearing an ally badge. And they'll let your daughter know about the Public Health Services chest binder fitting sessions. It will slowly dawn on you, you are not in with a chance to protect your child. These people who you are relying on for help in the village that it takes to raise a child are not actually interested in the long-term welfare of your child. They don't suffer if your child becomes infertile or never experiences sexual pleasure or lives with debilitating side effects and health problems from puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones. They will never have to be there to support your child through the years of devastation that people experience when the spell breaks and they become a detransitioner. No, they feel like really good people because they're being inclusive. Their boss insists on them being inclusive. Their professional registration depends on them being inclusive. I also want to try to dispel a false belief that exists in our culture, which is that modern gender medicine is so sophisticated as to be able to change the body without side effects, risks, and complications. That is not true. There are massive health risks from these experimental medications and surgeries. And finally, I'd like to tell the people who are peddling gender ideology something that I had to tell my kids when they were little. It is this: just because you say something doesn't make it true. Yes! Just because you say we're Nazis doesn't make it true.
We don't identify as Nazis, so we aren't Nazis.
Just because you say a man is a woman doesn't make it true. Just because you say that no man will ever take advantage of self-ID laws to prey on women and children doesn't make it true. Just because you say that children with gender dysphoria won't mind growing up to be infertile and having serious health problems doesn't make it true. You might ask, why are we here standing up to speak against a crowd of people shouting us down? Why do we bother? It is because we are experiencing the burden of a social responsibility that we just can't ignore. We must speak out about the harms we see being done to women and children from gender ideology. That is what is true.
They are getting a bit close, aren't they? I really do think, look, if they come here, if the police allow them to come through, maybe if some of the press are not biased, they will actually report on it. And they will show that a group of predominantly menopausal middle-aged women who've really had enough were threatened by a violent mob, and they were allowed to be intimidated, and they were allowed to be aggressed upon. So hopefully that is, if they get too close, everybody in the world will see, and we're outside where they make the bloody decisions in this country. Absolutely disgusting.
Since when did supporting women's Since when did supporting women's rights, the protection of children, and respecting the rights of trans adults become mutually exclusive concepts? Since when did it become impossible for an individual to care about all of these things at the same time? I am a woman. I am a bisexual woman. I have fiercely supported LGBTQ rights my entire life. I have multiple gay and lesbian family members whom I adore. I have an adult trans cousin who I love and respect dearly. I am a mother. I have experienced sexual assault at the hands of a man. So what I ask that group behind us is, do I qualify? Do I qualify to have an opinion on this? Do I have a voice?
Yes.
How dare you say that trans rights are more important than mine, than my daughters, than my sisters? How dare you say that trans rights are more important than the protection of our children from the physical, emotional and psychological harm that can come from childhood transition? Trans rights are human rights? Well, what the fuck are women's rights? This is not a struggle against your oppression. It's a struggle against your reality.
Can you hear me? Woo! Can you hear me? No. The mantras of patriarchy include some of the following. Sex work is work. Porn is empowering. Trans women are women. Gay men are not real men. Blue is for boys. Pink is for girls. These are the mantras with which we are groomed from the moment we leave our mother's womb. Our mothers who bled and wept and fed from their breasts, not from their chests, are now expected to change beside a man in a dress because the mantra believers suddenly think our sex is some notion conjured and actualized by some man's emotion, that we commit heresy by refusing to kneel at the altar of men who have no idea how it feels to be a woman, to be a girl, to be female in a female-hating world. Their sexist stereotypes assigned before birth are what kill girls before they even can talk. Are the reason why men feel entitled to buy a woman's body and say it's not rape. Yes, even when she's a child. Female infanticide, female genital mutilation, female sexual slavery kill and harm millions of women and girls, and yet knowing this, they still have the gall to say, to ask, what the fuck is a female? But of course, women are only here to imitate and fuck on your knees, turf scum, and suck my lady dick. There's another mantra they want us to swallow, to shut up and be kind and mindlessly follow the cult of the self, the male self that is, for men are the default and women are cis. We're non-penis havers, vagina owners, gestators, we're female identifying, womb owning menstruators, whose self-definitions are existentially threatening because our agency is only valid when they want it to be. These are the mantras that freeze our thoughts, that twist our tongue so that we will not talk, or so that if we do, we repeat their demands, like our sisters over there who have tied their own hands. Dear sisters, ask yourselves, who are these mantras serving, and what is so bigoted about women speaking? We're speaking for us, and we're speaking for you because you are women, you are female, this space is yours too, and when you open your ears, you'll hear what we hear. These mantras are tired, they're stale and limp. They scream, here I am, middle-class narcissist, who may never be homeless or imprisoned or prostituted or told this women's domestic violence shelter includes female-identifying males. We hear their words for what they are, their mantras of patriarchy, and we won't forget and we won't stop speaking.
So the reason we are all here, I want us all to just in our mind's eye imagine this. As a little girl, your boundaries were erased. Maybe it was your uncle, maybe it was your granddad, maybe it was your own father, but it was a man close to you and he didn't respect your boundaries and you're traumatized, and then you go to school and you don't have a changing room anymore. You don't have a toilet anymore where you can keep away from men, from boys, from AGPs in training. And then when you become an adult and you think maybe your trauma is behind you and you can just get past it, you can't go to a hospital without being asked whether you're a fucking woman. You can't go into a hospital ward where you can just have female-only space. You can't go into a toilet. You can't play sport on the weekend. And that childhood trauma that you thought maybe you'd left behind comes with you every day, and you're reminded you being female didn't matter then, and it doesn't matter now, and it won't matter tomorrow, and in death in Afghanistan, you don't even have a name. All over the world, men have found brand new ways to make us feel lesser. In Iran, they cannot have the hair showing in the streets. In China, they still in the countryside drying baby girls at birth. In North Africa, they cut off our genitals because for God's sake, we can't possibly experience sex in any other way than as men's pleasure. And that's what they want. I was asked the other day, what do you want to do to the doctors and the parents who obliterate the sexual function of children? We have laws about FGM. This is exactly the same. If you are in the business of promoting this harm to children, you deserve prison and nothing less. Where's that lovely woman? There's a man saying, I've never actually had sex.
Sisters and allies, we come together today for the ongoing fight for women's rights. Our mothers, our grandmothers fought tooth and nail to win us the rights that we enjoy today. It's been a long road, and while we stand on the backs of their successes, it is our duty to continue their fight. And there is still so much work to be done. In Australia today, for every dollar a man earns, a woman doing the same job earns 87 cents. Women are underrepresented in positions of power. Okay. We make up 51% of the population, but less than 20% of Australian CEOs are women. 22% of Australian boards and government bodies don't have a single woman on them. These are the people making the laws for us. It is 2023 and that is a disgrace. And though we may be underrepresented in positions of power and government, we are overrepresented in statistics of violence. On average, one woman is murdered by her current or former partner per week. 1 in 3 women have experienced physical and or sexual violence perpetrated by a man that they know. And these numbers double when we look at our sisters with disabilities. These numbers are much higher for our Indigenous sisters who face not just interpersonal violence, but also systemic institutional violence. These numbers are the tip of a very ugly iceberg. This is a nation in crisis. Those politicians up in Parliament House let us down every fucking day when they fail again and again to allocate sufficient funding to solving preventable issues. The violence and discrimination that women face is a direct result of the patriarchy. The patriarchy is upheld every day by sexist, backward men and the women who support them with their internalized sexism. It is men who commit these violent crimes. When we talk about violence against women, we leave out a key player, and that is men. When we talk about violence against children, it is often men who are the perpetrators, and it is often religious men in positions of power. The Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Child Sexual Abuse found that cases of sexual abuse of children was 3 times higher in Catholic schools. Religious men in positions of power. These are our enemies. These are the people we should be protecting our children from. Let's take a moment to consider another group of people, and that's trans people. Let's look at some facts. 22% of trans youth have experienced homelessness as a direct result of transphobia from their parents, their workplaces, their landlords. Trans people struggle to gain access to the basic medical treatment that all of us take for granted. 1 in 3 trans women in Queensland has been assaulted with a weapon. And most shockingly, up to 90% of trans youth medicine that we take for granted every day. Like healthcare, yes. As a trans...
Okay, so what's trans medicine? She said paracetamol. Let me just say. You're going to say that trans people that call themselves trans.
I'm saying that the people I know who are trans struggle to find doctors that treat them with respect. The generous respect that all of you get when you go to your doctor. What do you go to the doctor for? A cold? For a back?
Okay, all right. So somebody trans, calling themselves trans, goes to a doctor and they don't get treated for a cold. And they don't get treated for a cold.
That's a lie. You're in a cult, mate. You're caught up in a cult.
Do they get treated for... Doesn't matter. Doesn't try and get treated for... We're talking about women.
Okay, I had a friend, they've now passed away. They were a trans man, and when they went to the doctor, they couldn't get checked for HPV. They wouldn't check them because they didn't think that they were...
Right. What happens when you demand that people believe the lies that they are told? That doctor won't be able to treat your friend who was a woman for female health conditions because on those notes it said she was a man. Do you not understand this?
We're being assaulted.
This woman thinks it's appropriate when she's talked about domestic violence and the death of Indigenous women to talk about the rights of men.
What about women?
You think there's how many Indigenous people of this fair land call themselves a different sex? Percentage, please.
This dual structure of sex.
Percentage. How many Indigenous people of this land say that they're the opposite sex? Percentage, please. Numbers.
It's a colonizer construct sex.
Yeah, and the colonisation of female-only spaces by men is here and now, which you support. Why do you support men in women's spaces?
I think patriarchal men are the enemies inflicting violence on us. I don't.
Except now they get to dress up as women.
Right, she's now going to explain why some adult man with an adult erect penis is allowed in a space with my 16-year-old daughter. Let's hear you.
Statistically, your daughter is way more.
No. You're going to answer the question. Why should an adult penis be in the same space as female-only space as my daughter?
You're all spreading hate.
Careful. Those penises you defend will be your downfall, love. I don't think it's fair that someone centering Dick gets to take this platform. I allowed her to speak, but I will not allow her to lie repeatedly and diminish the rights of my daughter. Absolutely. How can you start a whole thing talking about violence against women and then start talking about men? I don't give a shit if they're misgendered, so-called misgendered, every second of every day. I don't care if that makes them cry. I don't care if that makes them threaten abusive tactics like injury to themselves. I don't care. We all know the most dangerous time for women in an abusive relationship is when a man leaves. And he often tells her he's going to commit suicide if she doesn't take another fucking beating. I cannot believe someone dares to do that. talk about female violence, and then defend the men that do it.
Delusional. Statistically, what? What stats?
Hi. I attended the Let Women Speak event in Melbourne. I was yelled at and abused, mostly by men, and I felt scared of those in black that the media is saying a Nazi who had nothing to do with what I and what others were saying. The media reporting of the event has been experienced as just another form of abuse. No one has reported on what the women speaking actually spoke about. I spoke about healthcare and the need for health communications to be as clear as possible. Accurate media coverage of the purpose of the event has been completely void in the Australian media. Many reports have claimed that the rally was something to do with Nazism because of the men in black that the police let through. Why did they let them through? This is an opportunity for politicians to stop turning their backs on women. Yes. This is an opportunity for the media to report on what women are actually saying regarding the intersection of sex and gender identity in life and in law. Thank you.
In the United Kingdom, there's a really famous set of women who were animal rights activists, and regular police officers befriended them, impregnated them, had families with them, all to spy on them. So I really don't doubt what really nefarious, malintent, very powerful people can and will do to women who speak up for our rights. Yes. You with the amazing t-shirt, you, yeah.
Please listen over there. It would be really good for you to listen what goes on. There are mothers who embrace the trans ideology, and there are some mothers who fight against it tooth and nail. I'm here today to acknowledge the pain and loss of voice that mothers can feel when their child is caught up in this deceptive ideology. I'm not a mother who has experienced this pain myself, but I have observed its tragic effect in others. And these are my observations of what can happen. There are mothers being required to deny their own reality. They're told that the daughter they birthed and loved dearly is now magically a son, or that their much-loved son is now a daughter. There are women being silenced and bullied into going along with the transitioning of their child, lest they be thought to hate them and to be responsible for causing their beloved child harm or even worse. The potential loss of their child from their life by the no-contact threat is too hard for some mothers to bear, and it's easier to believe that capitulation is the kind and right thing to do. There are mothers being manipulated by professionals who are supposed to be medically informed and told that if they do not go along with this ideology, their child could well kill themselves. Therapists are required to affirm the child's confusion rather than explore other options. Government officials can even take their child away if the parent doesn't comply with the recommended treatment plan. Supposedly kind family and friends, now calling themselves allies of the child wishing to transition, may encourage mothers into accepting this pretense against their better judgment on the basis that it's the best thing for their child. Mothers have to relearn the language and educate themselves. They have to fight down their emotions as they're told to use a new name and different pronouns for their beloved child. Detransitioners have reported dreadful abuse from trans ideologues that they thought loved and supported them. I guess it might be the mother who loved them all along that is there for them in the end. If you are a mother in this situation and are watching this, I want you to know that even if you feel unable to fight against this evil alone, there are thousands of women fighting for you. Come join us and speak up. Christian women, we have to wake up. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. This trans ideology is not the truth. We cannot lie to the most vulnerable in society. We know who the father of lies is. I am against this evil cult. We cannot deny the reality of identity confusion that some people experience. Our response must be to love them and bring them to the one in whom their true identity is found, the one who created them and loves them most of all. Thank you.
I love it. They always say you can't hide. I'm like, I'm literally here. I'm quite easy to spot. I'm the 5'1" peroxide blonde with ovaries of fucking platinum. Okay, who's next? Who's next? With anybody else? Yes. All of my body is intact. And I feel like it's a superpower amongst that wall of just malnutritioned, rotten brain kids.
Hello, women! Look, I had a big speech prepared, but I just want to say one thing. Men are not women. 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 Woo!
Anybody else?
I don't know. I think so. When I was younger, I would probably have been over there. I would have been one of the people yelling and shouting. I was such a weird kid. I was a misfit. My first crush was on my female best friend, and I just felt like I was completely alone. I used to have a fantasy that everyone else in the world would disappear and it would just be the two of us left. And that was the only way that I could imagine actually being in a relationship with a woman. I felt so weird. I had no friends. There wasn't any internet back then, but if there was, I know that I would have stumbled across this ideology. I would have found an ideology that gave me an answer for why I felt so weird, so alone. I would have felt a sense of togetherness, and I would have just grabbed onto it as hard as I could. Because that was not there. I grew up and I worked out how to heal myself. I worked out two things about how to heal myself. I worked out how to feel my body from the inside rather than worrying about how it looked and what other people thought about me. And then I worked out how to have relationships of integrity with other people. And the thing that is the tragedy is that people of responsibility, people in authority, are so fucking cowardly that they are not able to leave a clear path for these kids to work out those lessons. How can you have relationships of integrity with other people if you're expecting them to see you as something that you are not? How can you work out how to love your body exactly the way it is and love yourself exactly the way it is if you are being sold that you need drugs and surgery just to be okay? It's so sad. And I do not feel angry at these kids that are yelling at them. I know that I could easily have been there. The people that I feel angry about are the people in positions of authority. They should be courageous. Where are the journalists? What are the doctors doing that are not even doing basic research on these harmful drugs that they're giving to children? What about the surgeons that are cutting off breasts of confused teenage girls? I could have been one of them. Where are the politicians who are too cowardly? They all know what a woman is, but they are too afraid to say so. The shame is with them. It is not with these silly kids that are yelling at us. It is with the people who should be in a position to say stop, and they are cowardly. But thank you to Posey Parker. Thank you to everyone who has come here, because we are not going to stop.
Anyone else with a vagina? Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Posey Parker, for giving women a platform. I just want to say for all the mama bears, I tell you, you go for our children, you will start knowing about it. I'm here. That's right. I carry 2 children. I bought 2 children, and I am a woman, and I'm here for my 15-year-old daughter who is an athlete. That's right. And my dread fear, my daughter plays soccer, and my daughter is a runner. And I said to her before coming out here, because I have attempted to shield my daughter from all this craziness, from all the lies, and I said to her, could you imagine if you had the boys in athletics running against the girls? And she just kind of looked at me like, Mum, we'd all lose. They know. Our daughters will lose. If you put boys who think they're women in the athletics teams or in the sports teams, the girls are going to lose, and they could possibly be harmed playing against boys in soccer teams or other teams like that. So I'm here speaking for my daughter and speaking for the truth. We know the truth. Everybody knows the truth. They're just too afraid of the people over there, and the sporting codes are too afraid of, I don't know what it is, but they need to wake up. Everybody needs to wake up. So thank you. Thank you for the politicians who are here, and thank you to Posey Parker for giving us a voice. Thank you.
Okay, any more women? Yes. Yes? Can I just try something? So if we clap, right, they boo. So I'm going to say this. Boo if you're in a cult. Yay!
Okay. Consider, if you will, the implications of removing sex-segregated toilets and change rooms when pretty much everyone over 12 has a mobile phone with a camera. Consider the potential for harm. Boys and men can follow individuals into these spaces and film and photograph their targets in various states of undress. There are reports of this happening all over the world. These photos can be shared online in order to harass, humiliate, frighten, and demoralize women, and to intimidate girls and young women out of going out in public. I ask, are we unwittingly bringing back the era of the chaperone? These images are, of course, used for sexual gratification. We women say no. No to the crafting of our sex-based facilities to be used as amateur porn location shoots for garden variety creeps. So in regards of the whole new genre of pornography, of men, yes, biological men, filming themselves, masturbating in women's toilets. If you don't believe it, Google it.
We who speak here today did not invite biological men into our sex-segregated facilities and services. Many women's organisations have not had a fair hearing when raising our concerns. So self-ID laws are not merely opening a door to dodgy men with deviant predilections, it's blowing the fucking door off the hinges. To opinion makers who like to discuss the Liberals' long-running woman problem, hear this. From where we are standing, the woman problem has become a bipartisan, a tripartisan political affliction. To the politicians who would prefer the negative consequences of self-ID laws would simply go away, hear this. Even with the noise of a baying cancel culture mob shouting slogans at our faces, we women hear your political silence.
Any other women? Yes. She's supporting a wonderful t-shirt, let me just say. I'm not a vet, but I know what a fucking dog is!
Thank you, all of you, for braving today. I'm here because of what I saw happen in Hobart. Women openly attacked. Women openly abused with state sanctioning. We have spent millions of dollars in this country educating women and men about what domestic violence is. This week, the media and the people who sit in these houses have openly gaslit, vilified, practiced Darvo on women who refuse to consent to men in their spaces. They could have saved the money and just let that happen years ago. Enough! It is enough! Those of you who are brave enough to be here today, and some of you have gone because it is getting really scary now, they are winding up. They are coming closer. We have been told by the police if we are frightened, we should leave.
No way. No way.
No more, ladies. No more, sisters. We have the right to say no to men.
Anyone else? Right, yes, come on.
Hello everyone. I saw what was in Hobart as well and was horrified, and the first thing I thought when I saw it, I watched the whole thing, was what it must have been like for the suffragette women in the 1800s when they were trying to get us to have the right to vote. It was scary. I was in Melbourne. It was my first ever rally, and it was the most empowering experience of my life to be able to get up and say, let women speak.
Okay, anyone else? Right. So,
Hi everyone, how are you? Okay, so some of you might already know me. My name's Suzanne. I'm from the Youth Advocate. We're the people who had the Prime Minister in the High Court when we were asking for an injunction on the vaccine he was approving for our children. Most of us know that ruling came down from the High Court, and it ruled 6.4 million people in Australia, who are our young people, are insignificant. I tell everybody, I come from a very long line of very strong Australian women. My great-grandmother was a suffragette. My mother dragged me down George Street when I was 3 and we were fighting against conscription for Vietnam. This does not end. This is about our children. Currently, there is a grant that's been formed by the government. It's been put out to all NGOs, $96 million they are giving to transition our children of school age. Malcolm Roberts has been made aware of that today and we're taking it into Parliament. He's already taken it in and they said it doesn't exist and I've shown him the proof. I have the grant on me. If anybody wants to talk, my name's Suzanne. I'm the Director of the Youth Advocate and we're here for your children.
Okay, so quite a number of years ago, 2015, I started looking at this issue when I was told that basically truckers in bad wigs were women. And I said, are you sure? And the most despicable display of aggression was from women at that time. I mean, the men already had it sewn up, right? The men don't need to put their hands upon us. They have women to do it. They've parasitically invaded most organisations that were women-centred, and now they all sent a dick. So, I went to America last year, and then women in Australia and New Zealand, and I've been hearing about you since about 2016. I don't think you've heard the stories yourselves, but we were hearing about them in Turf Island, because unlike you, we already heard the stuff before they made the laws. I don't know how that happened. I think you're just a bit too nice. Like, we're a bit too cynical and fucking miserable in the UK. And so when they started going, well, the Olympic Committee's going to let those men, as long as they've had what? A little injection of estrogen? Taken the morning after pill, maybe? Morning after the penis before, something like that. And what we said is, hang on a minute, let's look at this. And then we realised they were transitioning children. I've been interviewed by the British police on 3 occasions. The last one was about a month before I came here. And I'm pleased to tell you, they have dropped the charges because there were none. I'm going to tell you what they said. Now, I think my lawyer may have written to me to tell me whether or not I can say it, so I'm just going to fucking say it because I haven't read his email. There was a woman in the crowd by the name of Fox Fisher. And Fox Fisher was 100% sure she was a trans man. So this is what I said. Fox Fisher's over there. She said some awful things about lesbians because she couldn't face being one. And then she was sure she was a trans man. And now she's sure she's non-binary, which means very, very special. And in the fucking UK, there was an hour at the grand price of £3,000 to be in front of the police at the threat of a charge. Just for saying that. Now, I thought someone was actually a lesbian. It's absolutely disgusting. So, you have to stop accepting even a tiny little inch. We've watched these metaphorically, literally, physically take an inch and another fucking inch and another inch, and everyone in authority just watch them take an inch and another inch until they're surrounding us, until they have usurped us, until they have stolen our rights and our fucking space in real time. So, for all of them who wanted to stop me saying this, I'm going to say it. Women don't have penises! Men don't have vaginas! There is no such thing as non-binary! And transitioning children is profound abuse! Gather with us! We won't shut up! We're not afraid! We will not be silent! Not here in Australia! Not there in New Zealand! Not back in the United Kingdom, across the United States of America, and in Canada. Canada, everywhere you AGPs try and steal our rights, we have women who are prepared to say no. This is the hill upon which I am prepared to die. Yes! If you can stand next to each other, and I definitely know some of you today stood next to politicians that you probably don't align with very much, but on this issue you do, and you cannot be distracted by the press making up stories or by lies of politicians, then I promise we will win. If you keep the central focus in your head that we will not allow men to take our rights from our daughters, then I promise we will win. Woo! And do you know why else we're going to win? Because we're right. Because I never lose! Thank you very much to the women who organised this under immense pressure. And there is some excruciating pressure from the AFP trying to make them cancel, telling women they wouldn't be protected. So for those of you that did turn up today, thank you for your courage. I know it's been really bloody difficult trying to organise this, and so many women across Australia are afraid. But we invite you to be courageous, because being silent is so much worse. Being silent is our kids sterilised. Being silent is your rights completely stolen from you. So I beg of you, be courageous, because being silent is so much more to fear. Thank you very much.
AFP are still here, they just moved back.
Hopefully this doesn't shut the stream off. I'm just checking the message. Yeah, sorry Phil. I want to contest this, so if you can send something in about that parking ticket, I'm contesting that for sure. I knew you'd get upset when you found that. I'm just going to pick your umbrella up so I don't break it. This is pretty insane, guys. What's really upsetting is that there's more people standing here against what's right. Where are the people? Where are the digs standing up for what's right? Look at these freaks over here. You've been doing a really good job. And your cameraman or woman.
Cozy Parker wants our feet.
Sorry?
Cozy Parker wants our feet.
Does she?
Yeah.
Did you tell her?
Oh, she just wants me to email it to her.
Okay. Did she give you an address?
No, I'll have to go see her.
No worries. Do you want me to take that for now?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. The sound's pretty bad again today. Oh yeah. Oh okay. Thank you very much for today. I really appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. We've been here for 14 months standing up for the rights for our children.
Are you the part of the freedom movement?
Yes, we are. We're not going home. We will keep fighting. Oh, good on you. Well done. It's everyone's choice. I'm here for everyone's choice. But the rights for our children, what comes first? But thank you very much for standing up for what's right. We really appreciate it.
I came to the freedom protest.
Well done. Thank you.
It's funny, I noticed that the police moved you guys on before they moved the
Yeah, no, they will. But that's okay. But I've got to de-escalate it. Grant is starting to get very excited, so yeah, it's okay. We deal with them every day. Some of them I get along with, some of them I don't. That's right. Some of them have assaulted us, like that man over there. He's a soldier friend of mine. Yeah, we've got a lot of problems.
How you doing? Transmedia?
But no, thank you very much. You spoke very well.
Small crowd on our side. Apparently the Nazis going.
So you're at the Melbourne rally as well?
Really? Come on, Joel.
They're asking for it. There's no Nazis here that I see.
No.
Can you see any Nazis?
No.
The whole world is so upside down about the phone. It sure is. No, it's good having people on the phone saying that otherwise. Yeah, when I see those, at least I can understand why people don't understand.
And they use the European Energy Railways on the
They control us just fine.
That's right. And of course they can control them. Just throw a penis up.
These freaks have got our cards now, so
I know. That's Maddie's mate from the library.
That was one of the stupidest things I've seen you do, Joel, do that was really stupid, okay? So, you remember thinking about it.
some of the freaks have stolen our signs off our lives. As you can see, they're not their signs, they're our signs. Can you go and grab them? Unless you want me to go and ask them for them.
Which one's the
Dragging our children to horror shows. Yeah, so, yeah. So, as you can see, Diggs, we've even got the freaks stealing our signs. And if Grant doesn't go and do something about it, I'm going to have to go down there and grab them. Beautiful. So we'll see if Grant can do his job. Okay, so Grant can't do his job, so he's not much of a police officer, is he? You're a great police officer.
They want me to ask. They like the signs, they just asking.
All right, if they want to pay us $50 a piece for them, they can have them.
You're not going to give them to them?
No.
No. All right.
Not a chance in hell.
Okay. Cool.
That is theft, as you know. That's your job.
Well, putting signs up is not. You can't put signs up around here anyway.
Were they attached to anything? No, that's why they've taken them. We do things by the book, Grant. Come on, wake up. I know they're psycho, but they can't hurt us. Lulu, they really can't.
What have they done? Stolen the signs?
They're stolen our signs. This freak over here is trying to make himself known on camera. Why don't we get him on camera so everyone knows what freaks they are? He's gone. He's run away now. He doesn't want to be close up. Yeah, we know who they are, Nobby. We speak to these police officers every day. We know who are arseholes and who we can deal with. I know how to deal with most of these officers these days. When Paul came through, Grant was trying to escalate a situation, but we calmed him down. It's all good. Yeah, Nobby, yeah. He speaks to all of us all the time. He's the one that actually controls the protests, but he's not very bloody good at it.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy. Oh, fuck you, mate.
If you actually understood fascism, you'd be looking in the mirror, my friend. One day you'll learn to open a book and do some real research.
Do research. Learn what an actual fascist is. Fucking moron.
Oh.
Yeah, fuck you too. Pathetic morons. Oh, shut up, you little twerp.
So Grant got one sign back. One sign back out of 3. Great police work, Grant. Oh, great police work.
Mate, you're just retarded. That's about it. You're retarded and mentally fucked.
Well, most of them are probably uni students, Ash, so they can read, but they just choose the wrong books. Just more propaganda and stupidity.
Why are they being dispersed?
Oh, because the speakers are finished now, they don't have to interrupt our talk.
I'm a little screaming fucking whatever the fuck I am.
I'll go and get my speaker out.
Yeah, man.
Oh, the problem is we've got to face it that way, but you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, so where are we uploading this one to?
Be deliberate.
This is on Freedom Front Canberra YouTube, as always.
Oh, yeah.
We're on that every day until they take us down, and then we have to use United Aus protests.
I know
we've got a fair few channels.
We got for 1,001 pages, you know, like
Yeah.
during back in the day, and I mean, I felt like we're a bit of a leadership. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't agree with, you know, but that's the right to freedom of.
Exactly. We're here for everyone's freedoms, but
don't have to agree
the
with
moral
everybody.
the moral things should be done right. So yeah, it's amazing how much upside down world we are dealing with every day here, guys. I laughed them all.
Yeah, well, they're so intimidating, aren't they?
Oh, I was scared.
Shaking in
I
our
was
boots.
really scared today.
Look, I was ready to go for it all, basically. I'm like, if it wasn't the police here well, or what was, like, you know, I want to keep it respectful because, you know, this is actually a respectful rally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, they're probably going to fucking have a fit because I put my British flag up at the end of it. No, because I got my flag in my bag, I got my British flag, you know,
Nice.
bought it for her, I also got my flag of war convoy.
Beautiful.
Still got this one, but it got 6 holes in it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
When
Very
justice
nice
becomes
flag.
war, resistance becomes duty.
Yes.
But no, if anyone, I've got up to 6 in the car, if anyone needs a bailout or whatever.
We're good. We're good, thank you.
Yeah, well, it's all right, Rosalie. You can always go back and revisit the interviews and stuff, and the freaks that were here weren't supporting us. But it's okay. Again, we've lived to see another day. But there were some really good speakers today. Some of it I couldn't hear, but Anita was doing the camera work today, and she got right in close. So I'm sure I'll be able to re-listen to it later. But I'm probably going to go offline very shortly. It's got to be breakfast time, so I'll probably turn you off shortly. So finish up your chats, and yeah, I'll give you another couple of minutes.
Take care.
chat.
Much chat. Yeah, there is definitely something in the water. Obviously, it's not just fluoride anymore. Something really to confuse people's heads.
Still plenty of women here. There's some cops actually.
No, we're here every day.
And regroup down on the bottom lawn. Otherwise, everybody's cleared out. Just the usuals left.
I'll have one more smoke before I turn them off. Then I need a coffee. Can I offer you a cup of tea or something?
No, I'm good, thanks. Got chocolate in my bag, ready to roll.
The essentials.
Yeah.
Bring your own tea and your own hot chocolate.
Yeah, gotta have the chocolate.
I expected a crowd today because I know that a lot of them paid to get here.
There was at least
three. Crowd.
There was at least 3 coaches full of people.
I wonder where they brought them all in from. Probably same tricks from Melbourne.
Probably.
Travel around the country following it all.
No, you're right.
No, it's all right.
Oh, Malcolm Roberts did get a go.
No.
Couldn't hang around long enough. He was there for a long time though.
The problem is, yeah, they didn't want any men to speak.
Well, not till the women had spoken.
And then, yeah, so the even like, that's all right.
Well, he was
He's
there.
enough
He was
anyway.
there the whole time, but
Yes,
yeah, he
that
had
was
to
good he
leave.
was standing here with us.
He was waiting to have his turn, but obviously had to go and do other things, which is a pity because well, depending if you want to hear Robert speak or not. But yeah, if he'd stayed another 5 minutes, he would have got to go. But anyway.
Yeah, all right, I'm going to shut down. I think they're over it.
See you, Diggs.
Thanks a lot, Diggs.
Thanks for being here.
Loved you all. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. So yeah, obviously Dan and Phil away for the weekend, but good afternoon, Albie. But yeah, we'll see you in the morning, Diggs. Loved you all.